Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today with another interesting topic. So today we are going to talk about protein, and protein is like questions related to protein are one of the most common questions that I'm asked all the time. And if you look at today's dietary trends, everything has to do either with a high protein diet, and now keto, which was a low protein diet, is also moving towards a little bit higher on the protein, right? So we're going to talk about different aspects of protein. We're going to talk about whether you're deficient in protein, how much protein do you really need, what are the signs of deficiency, and why is it important that you should have enough protein. So let's talk about why do you need protein, right? So protein are um, is formed by amino acids, right? So proteins it's a macronutrient which is essential in your diet to have, because if you absolutely stop eating protein, you're going to have a lot of deficiencies in your body, right? So what does protein do? It offers growth and maintenance of your body. It also helps with a lot of biochemical reactions in your body. It acts as a messenger. It's necessary for neurotransmitters. It's necessary for hormone formations. It's necessary for providing structure. So if you look at your hair, if you look at your cartilage, if you look at collagen, maintaining the tone of your skin, having stronger nails, having really strong hair and not brittle hair, you need protein for all that. Protein also helps maintain proper pH in your body. Protein also helps with immune function, right? So if you're really low in protein, you're going to catch every cold out there. So you have to make sure that you have enough protein in your diet, and we're going to talk about that. And it's also the source of energy to your body. So if you can't get any energy through fat or any carbs, if you're fasting for longer times over 48 hours, protein is the last thing your body will tap into, right, to get energy. At the same time, if you're going through something like a surgery, your proteins from the body will also be mobilized to help with the repair processes in your body. So that is why protein is really important. So let's talk about a lot of myths related to protein. So a lot of the times, everybody asks me, am I deficient in protein? Should I be eating more protein? Right? So you need minimum of 10% of daily calories from protein. So if we look at zero point 0.8 grams of protein in your body weight, if you count the kilograms, if you're counting pounds, you need 0.36 grams per pound. So on an average, it's going to be about 56 grams for an average guy. It's going to be 46 grams for an average sedentary woman. If you're working out, you're going to need much more protein for sure, right? So if you're having a little bit of protein at each meal, if you're following a diet where you're eating meat, or having lunch meat, or having, eggs, then you're not really going to be deficient unless you're not utilizing it. Now, this is a big difference that I see in most of my clients. In most people that I see who have a standard American diet, they're actually ingesting enough protein, but they are not utilizing the protein because of digestive issues, right? So when you look at developing countries, if you look in Southeast Asia, if you look in certain parts of Africa, you will see there is true protein deficiency in the forms of, kwashiorkor or marasmus, where kids start getting edema and swelling, and there's a lot of muscle wasting, and you get pot belly. So that's a true sign of protein deficiency. But in today's world, you could be deficient not because you're not ingesting enough, but because you're not utilizing enough, right? Because your digestion is messed up and you're not breaking down the proteins. And we'll talk about this one too, right? So exercising, if you're exercising too much and you're not taking care of your diet has to support your exercise. If you're going for a boot camp, if you're spending hours in the gym, if you're training extremely hard, if you're doing strength training, you're lifting weights, you need more protein than somebody who's sedentary, right? If you're going through a lot of high stress times, if you have a lot of anxiety, you're going to need a little bit more protein, right? When we look at Ayurvedic dosha types, a Vata person is going to need about like moderate proteins and easily digestible ones. If you look at the Pittas, because of the Tikshnagni or the fiery digestion, they're going to need much more protein to kind of keep them full. Otherwise, they end up being hungry all the time. And kaphas are not going to need excess protein, because if you give a kapha body type excess protein, they're going to feel bogged down. They're going to feel tired, and they're just going to feel sluggish. So when I mention about digestion and protein, the crucial part to remember is that in our stomach, in our gastric juice, there is hydrochloric acid, which plays a crucial role in protein digestion. So pepsinogen is a proenzyme that needs to be converted into pepsin, which is going to help digest all the protein in your stomach that you're eating, right? If you don't have enough stomach acid, you're not going to digest the protein. So that is something extremely crucial for you to understand, is that if you are eating enough protein, but if you lack stomach acid, you're not going to pick up the protein from the foods. You're not going to break down the protein into amino acids, and you're not going to be able to utilize it, right? So this is something that's extremely common. This is extremely common, and that's why I say that there's no true protein deficiency as such. It's not that you're not eating enough, but it's that you're not picking it up, right? For most cases. Now, if you're training, if you're running marathons, if you're training, if you're doing some weight training, if you're doing boot camps, then definitely you need much more than somebody else, right? So if you want to look at your diet, that's the one thing to consider. Like, try to take a look at your diet whenever you go for certain kind of exercise routine or a training program, whether it's strength training or boot camps. Make sure you sit down with someone and figure out if you have enough protein, right, in your digestion. Now, the other point, and this is like a myth, that people who are vegetarians or vegans don't get enough protein. Actually, you can synthesize plant protein as well. And if you make sure you have the right food combinations, if you make sure you're having high protein grains like quinoa or beans, you're having enough nuts and seeds, if you pair variety of beans with either rice, that's going to help you pick up the protein from your food as well. So that's extremely important. So now we talked about why we need protein. We talked about whether you are deficient in protein, or like true deficiencies versus false deficiencies. So how do you know how much muscle mass? So the one thing that let's talk about rather some signs you're not getting enough protein or you're not utilizing enough protein. So the first one is muscle loss. If you're losing muscle mass, you are either not utilizing the protein or you're not eating enough for your requirements, right? And how do you know your muscle mass? So typically for an active woman, you should have 30% muscle mass in the body. For an active man, it's anywhere from 35 to 40, right? So women should have at least 30% muscle mass. Men should have at least 35% muscle mass in the body. If you have anything lower, then you're not picking up the protein. And your muscle mass is going to decrease as you age, right? So this is typically, I'm talking about like 20 to 40-year-olds. As you turn 50 or 60, your muscle mass is going to slightly start getting lowered, right? So make sure that you know that you're not losing any muscle mass. A lot of the times people go on different weight loss programs, and even if they try certain protein shakes, right? And if you're allergic to the certain protein in the protein shake, you're not going to pick that up, right? So a common example is I see so many clients on whey proteins, and if you are reacting to whey protein, and you could be getting all the bloating, gasiness, diarrhea from the protein shake itself, and you're also not building the muscle mass for which you're taking the protein. So that is something to be extremely careful about. A few other signs of protein deficiency are you can have aches and pains, you can have unexplained hunger. So if you're hungry all the time and nothing feels like satisfying you, you're probably deficient in protein. If you have difficulty sleeping, if you suffer from insomnia, chances are you're deficient in protein. If you have brittle bones, if you get headaches, mood changes are common signs of protein. So a lot of your neurotransmitters are also formed from protein. So if you don't have enough protein, you're not going to have enough amino acids, and you're not going to pick up the protein to make neurotransmitters in your body. Thinning of hair, brittle nails. dry, flaky skin. So if your nails are chipping, if your hair is thinning, right? If you have dry, flaky skin, you're not getting enough protein, or you're not utilizing enough protein. If you have any kind of swelling of your feet, or you're retaining a lot of water, it could also mean that you're not utilizing the protein, or you're deficient in protein. If you have excess fatigue, if you're constantly tired, if you have a lowered immunity, if you're catching every cold out there, every bug out there you're catching, every flu virus that's there in the season, if you've fallen sick more than 4 times this year, or the past year, you have lowered immunity. And that could also mean that the protein that you're eating is not digesting well, right? And also slow healing of any kind of wound. So if you're having any wounds or bruises or post surgery, if it's taking you a lot of time to heal and recover, chances are you're lacking in protein, right? So today we discussed a few things. We talked about protein, we talked about how much you need, why is it essential, and what are some signs of protein deficiency. So the one thing I would urge everyone is get a body assessment done. If you can find a practitioner near you, if you're in Sarnia, I'll be more than happy to help you. So a body assessment is, I can hook you up with electrodes. It's not painful, but you can figure out how much protein, muscle mass you have in your body, how much fat you have in the body, how much water are you retaining, how much water do you have inside the cell, and how much water do you have outside the cell. And this also serves as a marker of inflammation. If you're retaining too much water, I know that you're inflamed. I can also find out a number called for cellular health called phase angle, which is also an indicator of how much potassium you would have in your cells, or how healthy your cells are. So the first step would be to try and figure out if you're losing any muscle mass. If you have lowered muscle mass, if you have around 20% muscle mass, you are low in muscles, and that is one of the reasons why you could be getting super tired and exhausted. And sometimes when you lose weight, and if you don't carefully plan your nutrition, you could end up losing a lot of muscle mass. So if you are in Sarnia, just feel free to reach out, and I'll be more than happy to do a body assessment for you. The other thing to be careful about protein is sometimes when you start eating too much. Right now I'm seeing a big fad or a big trend of nut butters, and people eat nut butters by the spoon. They'll have 3 to 4 spoons of peanut butter or almond butter, and they'll slather it on every damn thing. What ends up happening is you could start reacting to those, right? So in my practice, I see that people who eat a lot of nut butters or nuts, or eat any kind of protein in too much amounts, you start reacting to that, right? So if you could have food allergies because of the excess nut butters that you're eating. So I would tell you to just be a little bit mindful and try to rotate between different proteins as well, right? And make sure you have enough stomach acid. So if you're low in acid, you're not going to pick up any protein that you're eating. So you have to make sure that you are having a good stomach acid, right? And digestive signs like diarrhea, if you eat something and you constantly have to run to the washroom, that's a sign that you're having low stomach acid as well, right? So if you have any questions about today's topic, feel free to comment below. If you know somebody that's crazy about protein shakes and they're still not putting on the muscle mass, please feel free to share this video. Anybody else that needs to know this information, please share this video with them. And I'll come back tomorrow with another interesting topic. And if you have any questions, I'll hop on back and answer all the questions. So thank you all for watching me live, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Till then, have a fantastic night. Bye-bye.